Hey travelers, Chris here for UnmatchedVoyages.com and welcome to another review video. Today we are looking at Japan Airlines 050 from Doha to Haneda in their business class. Now, this is quite a long flight, around 10 hours it takes, and we start from 9 a.m. from Doha airport. And you can see here, a little bit unusual, you actually have to take the bus to get to your airport, which already is not the best start to a flight because it's obviously not the most comfortable one. You're getting squished in with everyone into the bus. But anyways, here's our plane, a B787-9. It has a reverse herringbone seating, I'll show you in a little bit, but first we need to kind of squeeze into the airport, kind of get to our seat, settle down, and I can't wait to show you what the flight is all about and what you can expect when you're taking that flight from Doha to Tokyo. So let's have a look and let's go. Guys, we are excited to now being able to offer you special travel agency rates when you book your next hotel stay with us at over 4,000 luxury hotels worldwide, including all of the big hotel brands you know. And besides these amazing benefits that you get at every stay, at no extra cost to you, you immediately also see your booking in your hotel app or account, and you only pay at the end of your stay. And of course, for all status and loyalty point enthusiasts in the audience, you also earn points and status nights on these rates, and you get all your regular status benefits as well. So there's really no reason not to book your next stay with Unmatched Voyages. So if you're curious, check it out at unmatchedvoyages.com/booking, or you can just click the link in the video description below. So now back to the video. As mentioned, Japan Airlines flies a reverse herringbone in this business class. I believe this is the Sky Suite number 3. But anyways, you can see here 7 rows of a 1-2-1 kind of direct aisle access, so that's generally good. And for this flight I would be sitting in the first row on the side 1D, and you can already see I do love the JAL branding and colors. I think the materials are quite nice, and this dark red with the black looks pretty good. Downside of this seat, of course, and it is a bit of an older seat, is that the privacy is not the best. You can see here it is fairly open, of course no suite doors or anything, but I have to say that the legroom is generally quite okay, although this little footrest area that you can see here with the blanket is quite narrow and not the most comfortable. One thing I'd like to highlight is that the staff, of course the cabin crew, was incredibly nice, polite, but also proactive. You can see here they quickly took away the trash, which I always love when they're proactive and attentive. The seat controls you have here, as well as your usual kind of storage area. There is not a ton of storage. There is a lot of kind of overhead area, especially here at the bulkhead seats, that's not really being utilized. However, there's some storage right next to you. You can see that here above the 1D sign. It's not super big. You can get your headphones in, that's where they are supposed to hang, and you can put your amenities kit in there, but it's quite narrow, so not ideal. Directly underneath it you have the power plugs, and you get kind of a normal power plug, a USB-A and headphone chargers. And I love when it is right next to the table or kind of the counter space, because you can easily charge your devices and rest your devices on the counter space, so that's great. You can also extend an armrest on the other side of your seat, which is convenient. By the way, I really hate these bulky airbag seat belts, but of course if it's for safety it's probably a good thing. It's just not very comfortable. Right next to your seat then you also have a little controller with a touchscreen with which you can control your entertainment system. I do like those. The screen is quite far away. You don't want to lean forward every time. You want to just like kind of pause the movie you're watching. So that's pretty convenient. I like that. On top of that, you also get a steam eye mask, very Japanese. And you also get the menu for the food on your flight already waiting at your seat, so you can have a look. Lastly, there is also a way to order the meals through the phone. I'll talk a little bit more about that later. Of course, then you get a drink in the beginning. I opted for the non-alcoholic option because it was kind of early and I already had some champagne at the lounge. And then with a hot towel and a slightly uncomfortable seatbelt, we were ready to take off. Let me then briefly address the entertainment system. The screen is not too big, but it's alright. The viewing angles are not great, but you can see here that it is a touchscreen, and that means you can make some changes during the movie. But again, it's quite far away, and you have this console kind of controller that is much easier to use, so just use that one. The provided noise cancelling headphones, I have to say, were quite bad. Those are on-ear headphones, and that means that they're kind of pressing against your ears. At least for me, that's usually not very comfortable, so I ended up not really using those. Better to bring your own, but to be honest, that's always the safe choice anyway. But let's lean back, relax a little bit, and see what the rest of the flight will bring for us. So let's then talk about the food, which is served quite quickly after departure, and you can see I actually got weak and decided to have some of the champagne after all. And how typical and nice that you get some hummus as a starter or amuse-bouche. Very nice. The champagne and the starter were quite good, I have to say, especially as kind of a morning breakfast meal. And I then opted for the Japanese kind of course. And you can see here another starter. This is kind of a kaiseki style, a bit of everything. And I have to say, it really looks pretty. It's so colorful, all these little dishes. I always loved it. And also when you look very closely, you just have a lot of different things that are very fun to eat. And again, I think if you go with the Japanese course on a Japanese Airlines, then you can usually not go wrong. The main course then was some rice with steamed fish and some steamed vegetable, as well as a miso soup that you can see here. Overall presentation, maybe not the nicest, although it's very difficult to make that look nice anyway. Taste-wise, not quite as good. The starters and the amuse-bouche definitely were better, but it's still a decent meal. Lastly, we also had a little bit of a dessert. I had this chocolate kind of mousse or pudding, and that kind of concluded the meal service at around 2 hours after reaching cruising altitude. I then wanted to just quickly check the table here, and just to note for you if you want to work, it's a little bit on the small side, but you can move it around quite easily, even though you don't have too much space to make it very comfortable. But I wanted to get ready to relax and watch a movie, as it was a bit too early to go to sleep right in the morning. But before I changed to a bit more like comfortable setting, I wanted to quickly show you the amenities kit, which comes with some kind of hand cream, a charging cable, which is actually quite cool and JAL branded for Lightning and USB-C. You have like a toothbrush, you get this card that kind of describes a little bit more about this amenities kit, and then you have this phone stand, which took me embarrassingly long to actually put up, but you have that. So actually quite useful things, and as well earplugs. So overall, I'm quite happy with this amenity kit, I have to say, even though I'm not familiar with the brand. I think it was called Heraldbone. You then also get a borrowed kind of sweater that you can wear to make it a bit more comfortable. It was a little bit cool in the cabin, so definitely also a welcomed amenity. A quick word on the restrooms, which were tiny but kind of Japanese style, stayed very clean throughout the entire flight, and of course you have some automatic kind of toilet functions. You also get Miller Harris kind of branded little things and like bathroom amenities, nothing too crazy. And then you also have the Airweave mattress topper, which really helps with the comfort of the chair, which otherwise wouldn't be too comfortable. But these like extra 2 centimeters or so of foam mattress and also the pillow do quite help. You can then move down your seat, as you can see here. It takes a little bit of adjusting, and then you can actually lie down. I must say though, and you can see it here on the video a little bit, that it's quite narrow around the head, so you don't have a ton of space, but it's actually worse for your feet, where you can see here, especially in the vertical way, you don't really have a lot of space to move your legs around, which is not ideal. Overall, it's doable, but also you can see here it's quite exposed to anyone walking around. And for the space, even worse, if you are a side sleeper, you just have barely any space at the footrest area because of the limited vertical space. So overall, not great. You can also hardly see the screen. It's hard to capture it on camera, but the viewing angle of the screen is not great. And as mentioned, privacy-wise, it's super exposed, so keep that in mind if you're sensitive to that. The good part is that, especially in the center row or center seats, you don't have overhead compartments, so at least that feels fairly spacious. A quick word on the in-flight entertainment. I haven't talked about the amount of movies you can watch, and you can see here that it's a bit of a pain to navigate, and somehow all the movies are in there multiple times. But overall, the movie selection is fine. I wouldn't say it's anything great, but you should be able to entertain yourself for a couple of hours, no problem, with the movies that you have on hand. And what goes well with movies, of course, some food. So I tried out the Order Anytime kind of app to order a cheese platter, fruit platter, ice cream, kind of all you can think of. I have to say, I do like the option to order from the phone. I think that's like super convenient, and I know it makes it very efficient. The food on the other hand, and you can see here I also tried a ramen and a kind of a penne arrabbiata, were quite not great, I have to say, and I really want to like it, but it was just not great food. I do like the fruit platters, but that's not such an impressive feat. Overall though, yeah, it's not ideal, but you can get your food and have a decent kind of experience here. If you rather prefer some snacks, there's also a self-service kind of bar in the galley, which also has some options. In terms of working then, I mentioned it earlier, but with the table it's actually quite fine, I would say. What's great about Japan Airlines, or at least on this flight, is that you have free in-flight Wi-Fi, and you can see that with the symbol here, and that was what I wanted to try out, and oh boy. While you hypothetically do get free Wi-Fi, it takes forever to sign up for, and it was unfortunately then also really slow, so that was not super helpful. So then, with the plane touching down in Tokyo Haneda, I have to say overall this was not a super great experience. JAL Sky Suite number 3 is probably one of their weaker products, especially in the long distance flights. I have to say, save your points, save your money, and maybe choose a different option. On this very route you have the option to fly with Qatar, and this might be a better experience. Anyway guys, this has been my review. I hope you had a good time, and if you've flown this flight, let me know how you liked it. Maybe I'm the only one who is not so happy with it. But anyways, as always, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. So cheers.